Welcome back, everybody. Episode 53 of the TalkBall Tweakers podcast. I'm your host, Blake McQuarrie, with my co-host, Jake Toussaint. How we feeling, fellas?
Uh, the NBA lottery sucks.
The Nets fan.
Yeah,
The
This
one
is the
thing you've been
Nets.
looking, you said in the playoffs, it was the one thing he was looking forward to, and he got
That
shafted.
was that was last episode, I think, that we
Yeah.
it wasn't only last episode I spoke about the lottery. Dude, I've been thinking about this lottery for a year and a half now, and the Nets have gotten screwed both times.
I will say
So
though, with the
yeah,
sixth pick, you can make the right decision.
they can, they totally can, but there's also a chance that the best five players aren't there, and
You
they're
draft,
definitely not going.
you draft Darius Acuff, you flush everyone out, and then you see what you can build. That's what I say.
Nah, bro, I'd love that so much, but I hope Darius Cup is there at six. Like, I love Keaton Wagler. He's not changing my franchise if that's the pick. But
Yeah,
anyway, we're
but
not here to talk about that.
we'll talk about all that stuff later. We'll talk
Yeah.
about the lottery later.
Well, we're not gonna wait too long because we're starting with that right now.
Oh, even better.
Okay, never mind
Yeah,
then.
we're gonna
Even
start
fucking
with
better.
we're actually gonna start with that. So Jake can't hide too much too long, fella. Can't hide too long, bro.
Fuck.
Yeah, no, we got a lot to talk about. We got NBA playoff stuff to talk about. We got people throwing elbows. We've got just a lot of content to dive into. We got a sweep, a team that really just didn't show up for the second round at all. And yeah, we've got the NBA lottery. We got the full order, so we're ready to see who's gonna get drafted. But first, before we do anything, let's talk.
Talk
Fuck
ball.
ball.
Oh, all right. So the NBA draft lottery. We are recording this on Monday. Probably not going to get out until Tuesday, but the draft lottery happened on Sunday. And Jake's Brooklyn Nets didn't do too hot. The ball did not roll into their court.
Surprise, surprise.
Um, but we'll go. I'll just name the top five. Well, actually, I'll just go the full lottery. We'll go full lottery and then we'll give thoughts. First, with the number one overall pick, the Washington Wizards. The Utah Jazz are picking second. The Memphis Grizzlies at third. The Chicago Bulls at four. Clippers at five. Nets at six. The Kings at seven. The Hawks at eight. Mavs at nine. Bucks 10. Warriors 11. The OKC Thunder at 12. The Miami Heat 13. Charlotte Hornets 14. Bulls 15. Um, and then we've got the full order as well, but we're not going to go through that full order. But top 15 there. Thoughts on the lottery? Thoughts on what happened?
Yeah, as a fan, obviously upsetting. And I'll talk about that. I'm gonna leave it for my tweaker of the week with the Nets, but this is one of the deepest NBA draft classes in recent memory. I think Jay Billis compared it to 1999 during the broadcast yesterday. Again, I wasn't alive in 1999, and I'm not going to go that far. But I think every team in the NBA lottery is positioned to get a really good basketball player who could contribute day one. I'm doing a mock draft for work right now, and I have the Oklahoma City Thunder drafting Ademar at 12 and a Daymara at 7'3" with those verticals, with those stats, could be a top five pick in any other draft. And so just how the depth of the class is ridiculous, but then again, that's not what the lottery is. So Wizards won the lottery, obviously. AJ Debinsa is the closest thing I'll see to a surefire all-star. I feel pretty confident saying that. Will he go to Utah? Will Utah make a move or Brooklyn make a move? There's a lot of stories there. And then yeah, I mean, look, the lottery's fun. I hate it. I especially as a Nets fan, I hate it because it's franchise altering, especially when a class is this good and the top four are this good. But it is what it is. But those top four teams, if the top four is going to go the way we think it's going to go, they're all getting guys who I think are going to be superstars in the NBA.
Yeah, this is such a deep draft. I mean, Darius Acuff in probably in the last few drafts would be a top five pick, and he might fall out of the top five, which just tells you everything you need to know about him. I mean, the other thing is like a lot of these teams that are in the top, that are in the lottery, a lot of them have talent. Like Utah has talent. They just haven't put it together. The Clippers have talent. They're now getting a top five pick. Um, I mean, you have the Mavs at
Don't go
9.
saying the Chicago Bulls have talent. The Chicago
No,
Bulls do not.
no, they do
Yeah,
not have talent. They
yeah,
definitely do
no.
not have talent. Chicago Bulls is just Michael Jordan in them. That's what it is. That's the franchise, is Michael Jordan in them.
Hmm.
But I was gonna say like the Mavericks are picking at 9. Like and then of course, obviously you talked about the Thunder at 12. You had um picking a Daimara. I mean, they have their luxury at 12 to pick a guy that's really gonna help them. I'm looking at tankathon.com. They have Yaxel going 12. I mean, you get your
Yeah,
pick behind Yaxel and Daimara, like, and you're already gonna. I won't say they're gonna win the championship. They're gonna win the title, but they're the favorites. They haven't lost in the playoffs through 8
they're the
games.
reigning champs.
I mean, and they're gonna add either the Big Ten Player of the Year or they're gonna add one of the best centers in college basketball. So it's just really deep. I will say a lot of teams did get screwed. Pacers got screwed. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Like you
dude.
went from getting it was like a legit say it was a 52% chance you were gonna get a top five pick. 52% chance and you tank the whole year to do this and it goes the other way. Almost a coin flip and you said and it just didn't go your way, which is heartbreaking because Pacers with Keaton Wagler or Darius Acuff would be nasty. So they kind of got screwed. Other teams who just kind of didn't get, I mean, the Kings, not that I want to reward a terrible franchise, but they fall out of the top five. And not because they might still get Darius Acuff Jr. Who knows? So, uh, obviously a lot of tanking this year because of all the talent. It was just so weird for everyone to see the tanking and then panic. That's the one thing about this whole thing that was so weird to me. It's not like we've never seen tanking before, but it's like this year out of all years, you could be in the top, you could be at the back end of the top 10 and still get a quality starter who makes all-star teams and is a good player. So you're seeing teams go out of their way to just tank mercilessly. I mean, Utah got the number 2 pick, and they were sitting their entire starting roster the back end of the season. The last quarter of the season, nobody played. And so, yeah, the last thing I'll say is, man, Wizards can't catch no type of break, man. They went from asking Caleb Wilson, "Do you want to be a Wizard?"
Yeah,
to
dude.
flash to AJ DeBanza looking like he said, "Is I gotta go play in
He looked
Washington?"
he looked so pissed. He looked so pissed. But you know what? You know what? You know what? And I've been saying this. I said this on our podcast a year ago. I sat there and I said, and when AJ DeBonsa when AJ DeBonsa committed to BYU
Yeah.
and he was playing at Utah Prep before then, this whole thing about AJ DeBonsa has been trying to get him to go to the Utah Jazz. He has been trying to make his way to the Utah Jazz. And then you see him on TV, the Washington Wizards get the number 1 pick. And he
Well, you know
looked
what they're saying now. Everyone's like, you
he
have
looked
to trade half the franchise for him.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing though. Now it's like, and that's where I was gonna go with the next topic on the lottery was, do the Wizards take AJ at 1? Do they take Darren Peterson at 1, or do they trade back with Utah and go 2 because Utah is going to want that number 1 pick? They want to get AJ. We know Utah wants to get AJ.
Hey,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
if I'm AJ, I'm pulling the Eli Manning. I'm
But,
pulling the Eli Manning, boy.
but see though, it's like pulling Eli Manning. The NBA don't work like that. We tried.
But the
Yeah.
players got the power. The
We
players do have
tried.
the power. I
But
will say this.
but we
Ace
seen
tried
what
to do that.
happened with Ace though. We seen
He
what happened with
okay,
Ace.
but Ace wasn't in that same position. Ace is still elite, don't get me wrong, but
That
he
is true.
wasn't the number 1 pick in the draft. Like people
Very.
weren't saying Ace was the guy. They're talking about AJ like he's a franchise changer. Everyone else is gonna be a good player, and anyone else in this draft in the lottery could be game changing. But off of just talent, AJ is like that. So if he's like, I don't want to go hoop in DC. Like I just took all that money from all those from Utah, from the state of Utah to be here, right?
Exactly.
And if you believe in
Yeah.
conspiracy theories, listen, he probably might get to Utah. He might. If DC
I fully believe it too. I think there's going to be some calls made. I
Yeah,
think
no,
AJ is going to end up in a Jazz jersey. I do. I really do.
I think there's going to be some calls made, and I think Utah's going to try to give a haul to get that pick. But even if they don't, and the Wizards take AJ, I think Darren Peterson's a perfect fit in Utah. Like the one thing they lack is a shooting guard that can score. They have all the length with Ace Bailey, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Lowry Markkinen. And Keontae George became one of the best distributors in basketball last year. You add in one of the most prolific scorers to come out in Darren Peterson. Utah's really close to contending, dare I say?
I believe it's a win-win for both of those teams. I
Yeah,
believe
obviously.
whether Washington, Utah, one or two, like I think it's a win-win for both of them. I mean, you look at Washington's construction right now. Trey Young, you've got a great young core. Bub Carrington. You know what I'm saying? Like that trade that sent Trey to Washington is like that helped them out a lot. So it's like really, if you're Washington, I mean. Do you get a few other,
I mean, Ace is a wizard.
players from Utah and you go back and you get Peterson, you get Boozer, whoever you want? Like,
Yeah,
Ace,
dude.
Ace, Ace is a wizard if that happens. Because they're the same kind of player, same timeline, like lengthy, tall, athletic forwards who he's gonna be a wizard. And then they're probably gonna give like Bryce Sensabaugh and maybe Isaiah
Yeah,
Collier,
Sensabaugh, someone else.
someone like that. And then maybe obviously the number two pick, and then maybe another pick. But
but
I mean, if I'm Washington, I like if this. I understand if he's life changing, I get it. But if you're Washington, you are so likely to blow this, and it's not even gonna be AJ's fault. Like you got to think about it. He's coming into a franchise who has AD and Trey Young. Now I know those aren't superstars now, but those are guys who have been in the league and have the gravity in the pool.
They're alphas.
AD is already going to be gone if they draft AJ. AD's gone because you're not going to put an older hurt big man on the floor. And then with Trey Young, it's like you're telling Trey Young, yo, you're not the guy now. Like it's AJ. So they're gonna have to trade some pieces and figure it out. I mean, do they just run the table with the number two pick? Because I mean, think about it. DC with Darren Peterson doesn't sound too bad. I mean, that's watchable. I would watch a Wizards game if it's Darren Peterson, Trey Young, and AD. I would watch that.
Yeah. I mean, I think the team that should trade for number one, and I'm not only saying it because I'm a fan and there's reports about it now, it's Brooklyn. Like you talk about the way they got shafted in the lottery 2 years, and
Yeah.
they have pretty
Package
much
up your 5 first round picks from last year and ship them
I
all.
exactly, especially with the NBA's anti-tanking rules, which we haven't really spoken about. Like the Nets just tanked pretty perfectly. They had the worst record in the NBA, top three odds, 2 straight years, and they got the number eight pick and the number six pick. If they and they haven't had a top 10 pick since 2010, since they moved to Brooklyn. And so why are they gonna harp on luck? Trade the fucking picks. Like they don't have a first rounder next year either. I would trade every single asset that the Brooklyn Nets have for AJ Dubance because, and I don't know if that's enough because of how shitty of a franchise they are, respectfully. Um, and you talk about fit, like, look, Utah's the ideal fit for AJ. If the Nets could get into the top four and find their guy, that's how you make them relevant because, like, they could be relevant. And so trade those picks, trade Igor Demin, trade any of those youngsters, and take what's it called, AJ DeBansa. Because then again, like, and this also, I shouldn't be making this an only Brooklyn Nets thing. I think a lot of teams, like the Pacers, for example, the teams can't tank anymore. And so, fuck, like Les Snead, what he said, fuck them picks, respectfully. Yeah, fuck them picks. Like, because and like the Knicks, I guess, like 5 first round picks for Mikal Bridges, who's playing so well. I know it's a little different of a scenario, but trade up, go get your guy. Who cares about the picks? Because for all you know, you could trade your pick away and it could be a crap pick. For 3 straight years, the Nets pick that they traded, that one jumped up, and the pick the Nets got jumped down. And that's not going to change with with the new rules. So go get your guy. And I know I'm making it Brooklyn centric, but Utah too.
No,
Fuck
but
them picks.
it makes I know, but it makes sense. I mean, at 6, I'm looking at this. They say Keaton Wagler, as good as Keaton Wagler might be as a prospect, he doesn't help you if you're where Brooklyn is.
Exactly.
He's a good scorer, but he's not a guy that's gonna put the franchise on his shoulders and be like, I want to be the guy. He's gonna be a guy that's gonna try and help or supplement a good team. So it makes all the sense to go get AJ. I mean, it makes sense for anybody to go get AJ, but out of anyone, Utah, and then I would say Brooklyn. But again, there's like interesting topics through the entire first chunk of the teams in terms of who should they draft, who should they get. I mean, the Clippers are really interesting at 5, who we thought were for a while not going to get a top 10 pick. The Kings, obviously not interesting, but who could they pick to keep them afloat? I mean, Atlanta. Atlanta just had a great season, and again, the 8th pick, which
Yeah.
if it's Amen, it's good. That's a great pick. And then, Dallas, maybe with Braden Burries or Michael Brown or somebody like that, like a true point guard would be good for them.
Yeah, one more thing I want to say is just like I'm not trying to make it that that everyone else beneath AJ Peterson, Caleb Wilson, and Cameron Boozer can't be franchise stars because I think a lot of them could. I just think that with the NBA timeline and with the way the NBA is going, these guys are going to need more development. I think Darius Acuff, we've spoke about it multiple times on the podcast, how he's one of the best scorers we've seen in college basketball. But he's 6'3", and defensively he doesn't give much. And so that's going to be developmental. Keaton Wagler, flamethrower, gonna need to put on muscle, gonna need to translate to the game. Same with Michael Brown and those guys. And then again, like if a team can't develop you right, which there's more possibilities, especially if you're the Brooklyn Nets or the Sacramento Kings, like you want that surefire guy because like I don't want this to come bite me in the ass, but like it's much harder to mess up AJ DeBanza or Darren Peterson or Caleb Wilson or Cameron Boozer than it is one of those guards. And that's not to disrespect those guards. That's just because of how good those players are. Like, and the last thing I'll say, and then we could talk more or whatever. Caleb Wilson's the Swiss Army knife in this lottery. Like, I think the Jazz could take him. I do. I think like if he's getting, did you guys see Jay Williams compare him to Giannis? Like, I was
Yeah,
never
I
gonna
saw
go that.
that. He said the
I,
ceiling was Giannis.
I
yeah,
think it's
I
a,
was
I think
never
it's a
gonna
little
go that far.
for sure. I think.
I
Yeah,
mean,
Yeah,
it's
no,
not bad.
it's
I
not
don't
a
know if
bad.
I don't know if he'll win Defensive Player of the Year, but I mean, based on his skill and talent, he could be. Because you got to think about it, Giannis is a won a Finals MVP, 2 MVPs. Is it 2 MVPs? Yeah, I think two, and then a Defensive
yeah,
Player of the Year. So I mean, that's a huge ask out of anybody because Giannis is a top 20 player all time. So to just shoot all the way there is crazy. But he has the skill and talent to definitely have the ceiling of Giannis. Maybe not be Giannis, but like
yeah, no,
I see what
exactly,
he's
dude.
saying.
Yeah, no, though, like on that point, what I'm making, like, if he's getting compared to Giannis, he's gonna be the number one pick, right? But he's not even getting considered for the number one pick because of how good AJ is. And he might be the number four pick, and he's getting compared to Giannis fucking Antetokounmpo. Like that just again speaks to the depth of this class. And so, no, it's definitely interesting. I mean, like I did a whole first round mock draft today. These players are ridiculous. Like the depth in this class. I don't know if it's because we cover it more and I just have more attention to it. It just like speaks to all of it, dude. I mean, like Marez Johnson in the 20s, if he doesn't come back to school, he's going to be a great NBA player. I really think so. And so, um, yeah, screw the ping pong balls. But I could ramble about that all the time.
I think that what I took away from it the most, and it speaks to obviously what you were saying, Jake, how deep this draft is it's like these teams, yes, the draft is very deep. These teams in like the top 15, I'd say like top 12 area, like they just need to pick correctly though. That's the most important. I mean, obviously that's the most important thing of a draft every single year, no matter what the draft is, but if you want, obviously, if you want to, if you're a team in the lottery in the top 12, whatever the case may be, even top 10, if you want to make the most out of this draft and then this draft being the deepest draft, then you need to pick correctly with that pick. Like that's just all it is. So just for all those teams, that was kind of just the biggest takeaway there. But yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting. I think there could be a few trades that go down. Um, and I'm excited to see draft. I think this is one of the most exciting drafts that we've had in a long time. So it's gonna be interesting for sure. Anything else you want to add with the lottery?
Now let's talk about the relevant teams now, respectfully.
The teams competing for a championship, the teams that don't need a lottery pick, who do not care about the deepest draft in the NBA in a long time. Let's go to the NBA
Shit,
playoff.
this is could use a lottery pick. We need another score. We got Unk out there scoring. We got
Yeah,
Tobias
dude.
Harris dropping 20 a game for us.
Let's
He
go.
ain't, Unk ain't never been like that.
And then there's the defending champions, Oklahoma City Thunder, who have a lottery pick. Like,
Yeah.
They have like 30 scores. We have none.
yeah,
Like,
it's
can
all
we
pandemic P's fault.
can we get AJ Mitchell? Like just a crumb?
What a signing that was from Presti.
Bro,
Um,
3 years, 8 million?
it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, let's go
That's
with the playoffs. What series do we want to start with first? Obviously, I mean, we can get the Knicks and Sixers out the way if we want to, since that was a sweep.
Yeah,
What a disappointing show up by Philadelphia. I mean, I was watching that game yesterday and I said, this is just embarrassing. You can't go down 3-0 and be on the verge of a sweep and then you go and lose by what was it, 30 points?
Yeah, but
That's
they
just
had no say in that. The
that's
Sixers
that
had
yeah.
no say in that at
that
all.
is
That's the
that,
thing that blew my mind was that they had no control over the series at all at any point. There was never a
and I
point where you felt
No.
like Sixers have a stake in this. It was just it never got to that point.
And I think that's ridiculous. You have to be better than that, especially coming off of a series win against Boston. Like you should have all the momentum in the world as a seven. Nobody picked Philadelphia to beat Boston. Nobody in the world. Nobody picked them except for a Sixers fan.
Yeah.
So, like, you have to have all the momentum in the world to come into the series against New York and at least get one game. You can't even get one game. That's just embarrassing. And it was ironic because it was like after that series against Boston and you win what was that game 6 or no game what was that game 7 in Boston.
Yeah.
It's like the high that Philly was on and it just went so low so
You
quick.
know what's so
So
funny?
low so
You
quick.
know what's so funny? Everything that worked for the Sixers in the Celtics series didn't work for them against New York. Like I feel like they almost tried to transfer what they did in one series to another. Like, oh, we just beat the team that we haven't beaten in 40 years. Let's apply it to the Knicks. And the Knicks were like, that ain't gonna work against us. We're not the Celtics. And it's
Yeah.
crazy because like there's a huge flip in the playoffs. Like the Celtics were the number 2 seed, and then all of a sudden they can't shoot, which has been their flaw all year long, is that they go through slumps. The Knicks, who everyone thought, could they really do it? I don't even know what happened to them in the middle of that Hawks series, they flipped a switch and all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. I don't know who talked to who, but they finally realized what kind of their ceiling. Like what you're seeing from Knicks is their ceiling, absolute ceiling.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
Cat's not even having to drop 20 against the Sixers. He's just playing like good basketball. He's being a great passer, being efficient. I mean, in game 4, they shot like historically well. They tied the 3-point percentage against the Sixers. So like I wanted to smoke, but now I'm like, not this team, not this team. I don't want to smoke with this team.
No, that was a yeah, no, uh, that was a great call out. Like they flipped the switch so quick and it was
And for no reason, it came out of nowhere. That's the thing that blows my mind. It wasn't like they had a bad game and they got blown out and then they went back to the drawing board. They just woke up one day and then felt like, let's go on a 7, what was it, like 5, 6, 7 game heater and just kill everybody in front of us. The Hawks didn't stand a chance in game 6. And coming into this game, I said on my TikTok, I said, give me the Sixers with a healthy Joel Embiid. Now, obviously, Joel Embiid wasn't healthy, but he was there for 3 of the 4 games, and he still looked like a non-factor in most of those games. Um, yeah, to me, the Sixers were disappointing in the second series. I definitely thought it was going to go to like 6 games. Um, but yeah, last thing I'll say, the Knicks just have everything working for them. I don't know. There's like, Mikal Bridges disappeared for parts of the Hawks series, and then he looks like he's worth his, the picks. Cat realizing that I can also pass, even though I'm 7 foot, like I can do this. Brunson's not missing. Like they're just at an all-time high playing, and no one could have predicted this or seen this as one of those moments. So, props to them. I'll tip my hat, but. Listen, if the Pistons don't win in game four, I'm really scared. Not that we're gonna lose the Cavs series, but that as the more that gets drawn out, the more it's like the Knicks they're just waiting. Like it,
Exactly. The amount of time that the Knicks have, it's scary. They have
Yeah.
to rest.
The Knicks are two CJ McCollum game winners away from sweeping their way through the first two rounds of the playoffs. And like, I don't think anybody could have predicted them being this good, but this is exactly what they were supposed to be this entire time, right? That's why they traded for Karl Anthony Towns. It's why they traded for Mikal Bridges. It's why they traded for OG. And now all the pieces are together. And like, look, I've been saying since the start of the season, like when we were back in the studio in the summer, just like if this isn't the year for the Knicks, when is it going to be? And if they get out of the East, can they beat the Thunder? I don't know. They play like this, they could absolutely beat the Thunder. And look, I don't think the Sixers were that good of a basketball team, but I think I don't want to say it was more the Knicks winning than the Sixers losing. What I will say, and this is not even a take, it's just an observation. The Knicks fucking belted them. The Knicks in 6 out of their 7 playoff wins in the streak, like they won by double digits. And in 4 of them, they won by 20 plus. They hit 25 3-pointers yesterday. And if they're playing like this, yeah, they could beat anyone. And this is what they're supposed to be. Like the one thing I'll say, my one other observation is like, regardless of what happens with Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? Because like we could talk about him with the Knicks, and I was saying the Knicks need to trade for him if they don't. I don't think they need to anymore because if they're playing like this, they're going to be the favorite in the East going into next year. That even because especially like I brought up Indiana. Indiana just got screwed in the lottery. If Boston came out in that Philadelphia series, I still think the Knicks beat Boston in 5 if Jason Tatum's not healthy and Boston shooting the way they are. And so the Knicks championship window just became a lot bigger for me, even without Giannis. And so if Giannis wants to come to New York, the Barclays Center is a great place. It really is.
I will. That's funny. I will caution against this. I will caution against this. I won't say that the Knicks can't play like this for an extended period of time, meaning the next two series.
Yeah, are they peaking too early? That's like a thing.
That's a fear of mine is that not that they're peaking, but that they could just come back down to earth a little bit. Because I mean, here's the thing: if they go play the Thunder and they walk in there and they're like, through 3 series, we've been dominating the East, and then they finally play the Thunder, it's like, whoa, wait a minute. And then because it's like sometimes you might get into it with somebody, and then someone else gets into, and then all of a sudden you got, you know what I mean? You just don't know what's in front of you. That could happen, and then my fear is also they take that going into the next season and they're like, well, we were just this close away from winning it. Well, let's run it back. And that's not to say like if they get to the finals that they can't get back there, but I they come back down to earth either against the Pistons or the Cavs in next series and they win it in 5 or 6, but they don't look as dominant. It'll be like they peaked a little bit. So that's just my point. I don't want people to be like, well, let's run this team next year just because they hit a I mean, I understand they hit another gear, but let's say this gear is a one-time thing. What if, because we talk about Pacers, what if the Pacers was a one-time thing? Doesn't mean that they should keep running it back, right? But I,
Uh,
I,
I'm gonna talk a little less on next year because I don't even want to go into that right now because they're still in the middle of a playoff run. I think that coming back down to earth for them though isn't necessarily going to be a bad thing for them because you got to look at it like through those first 3, 4 games against Atlanta, like Atlanta had them on the ropes. They had to look themselves in the mirror in that series and be like, all right, listen, like this is what the fuck we're capable of. This is who we are. Now let's go and let's go and belt these dudes like that
Yeah.
they had to do that in that series. So I think realistically like they come back down to earth and whether it's a series against Detroit, Cleveland, or they go to the finals and it's a series against, OKC, San Antonio, Minnesota, like coming back down to earth for them, it necessarily isn't going to be the worst thing because they seen that in the Atlanta series. It's just, I think what the issue for them is going to be now for the rest of this playoff series is the talent that they see. That's going to be the issue for them. Because we talk about Atlanta like, yeah, Atlanta had a pretty good team, a lot of young guys, like not even as close to the talent that Cleveland has. I'm not really gonna say Detroit because like we know Detroit is just a really good basketball team and they play really well together and they're really well coached. But like Minnesota, San Antonio, OKC, Knicks haven't seen nearly the talent yet. And so like that's my thing is I think it's the talent aspect of like whoever they get next they're going to have to deal with that now. I think coming back down to earth isn't going to be the issue. I think it's the talent is going to be all right. Now we don't got we don't got we don't got these scrubs now. Like what I'm saying. And I'm not going to call Philly scrubs. Like Philly has some really good basketball players. We know Tyrese Maxey is capable of that. We know Joel Embiid is an MVP caliber guy. We know VJ Edgecombe is a very very good rookie and can be a very very good player. Paul George, not the same Paul George that he was, but it's like I just think
But can
talent.
they do it on command? That's my question. Because
And
Yeah.
I understand that the first series against Atlanta, they were like two game winners away from sweeping, right? And I understand that. But these games in the playoffs are tight, almost all of them, unless they're, obviously blowing out teams like they've been doing. Most of them are close down to the final couple of possessions. So for me, it's like if they cool off. Let's say, okay, they swept the 76ers. Let's say they cool off. Whoever they play, Detroit or Cleveland next, this series, let's say Cleveland wins tonight, it's tied up. Series is going to 6 or 7, most likely 7, which means they're going to have to wait. Now, there is a thing with rust versus rest. Let's say they come into the next series, instead of it just starting right away, they have several days to lay off. And then they come back and it's like, oh, they come back down to earth. Obviously, they can still get to the finals and still play good games against the Thunder or whoever it may be coming out of the West. But in order to beat the Thunder, they're going to have this version. Because we've seen teams try and give their full effort against OKC. It's not even a competition. Shea is having one of the worst playoff series in his entire career, and they are still absolutely giving the belt to LA. And he's averaging like 20 per game. And the rest
Yeah,
of the
he's
team
playing terribly, dude.
and the rest of the team is just killing them. I mean, with all due respect. So that's my whole point. If they get onto the same floor as OKC and they've cooled off and they're the Knicks of, I won't say old, but like the Knicks where it's like we're still unsure, should we get Giannis or not? If they walk into that series with the Thunder and the Thunder just absolutely just kick him in the face, people are gonna be like, Giannis.
Yeah. No, I don't want to talk about the Knicks too much since like it's such an easy series. Like they're not going to be able to score like this, regardless of who they play the rest of the way. Like I think they're so good offensively, but Philly's one of the worst defensive teams in the league, and they've been for years and years and years. And the Knicks just said, "Fine, we'll beat you with pure scoring," and they play defense too. Detroit's gonna like say it's Detroit, who I think is gonna win the series. Detroit's dragging them into a dogfight, and the Knicks got to win a game on the road. And you saw how hard that was last year. And then Oklahoma City's the best defensive team in the NBA, and they're not going to be able to win like this, but they were also built to win in a gritty way. They're built to be so good defensively with the three wings in Anunoby, Hart, Bridges, to pair with Brunson and Cat, who are so versatile. And so they can win like that. But like if they don't, then all the stuff starts happening again, all the inconsistencies. Like they can't afford to go cold. They can't afford to peak at the right time or at the wrong time, rather. And so, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the conference finals because I think the conference finals are going to tell you a lot. Like, I'm not ready to say the Knicks are going to the finals. Like, I'm going to pick them regardless, but I picked the Knicks to make the finals since the summer. And it's very possible that Cleveland or Detroit could beat them. And so I don't think they're going to take games for granted. I don't think anybody in the locker room is, nor any fan is, especially because they're one of the most cursed organizations in sports. But, it'll be interesting to see. I think that's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, for sure. All right, moving on to Lakers, Oklahoma City Thunder. That game is tonight, the night that we're recording. Obviously, this episode is going to be out after the game is concluded, in which the Thunder probably have already swept the Los Angeles Lakers. But even if it is 3-1 when this episode's out, I think we know who's going to win this series and who's going to advance. I want to go less on the LeBron talk because we don't really know what's going to happen with LeBron. I think that can be a discussion for a whole different day. Um, I think we look at what have the Lakers done this postseason. Obviously, the big elephant in the room, everybody knows it, is they didn't have Luka Doncic. Um, what needs to be done though, heading into the offseason, in the offseason, for them um, to contend again and be right up there with the OKCs and the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah. I'll start us off. I mean, like, I think the biggest topic for the Lakers is the fact that Ric Flair is beefing with Luka Doncic. Like,
Shit
and
is hilarious. That shit is
it's so
hilarious.
funny. It's incredible, dude. It's so funny. And it's a shame that Luka Doncic can't play. And we've spoken about this as a possibility since Luka got traded to the Lakers, but let's be honest, the Thunder were still going to beat them. And so you need, look, I'm going to state the most obvious take. You need someone to surround Luka Doncic, LeBron James, and Austin Reeves. And DeAndre Ayton's not going to do that because JJ Redick said it in game 3 and they caught him. He's not playable. And look, I don't want to disrespect Luke Kennard or Jared Vanderbilt because, like, plain and simple, they've actually been like okay. It's just their ceiling is not
Absolutely.
high.
Absolutely. I
Yeah,
think I think I think the Lakers realized a ton this postseason, and I think they realized the amount of talent that they have on that roster. It's now filling in those gaps. It's like, all right, do you want
exactly.
to keep Jake LaRavia around? Do you really want to keep DeAndre Ayton around? I think you really build around obviously Luka AR, you mentioned it. If LeBron is there next season, and then you obviously you need to pay Rui. You need to retain Marcus Smart, Luke Kennard, like that's the core right there,
Yeah.
build around that. Get just a literally two, three young players who are really, really good rotational players, and the Lakers can be in contention to be a number one seed. Absolutely.
Exactly. Because like one thing that I was thinking of is just like they got to, I don't have to make a trade. Like they could draft a guy at 25 and he could be great. Like I'm talking about like the Dalen Swains or the Yosefus. Like they're going to have a chance to get a real scorer. But they could also make a trade. And I wouldn't blame Ron Pelinka for doing that because like look at the teams in the West that are competing and are going to have their windows open for a really long time, right? You're talking about Oklahoma City, Minnesota, and San Antonio, right? Three top five players in the league in Shea, Ant, and Wemby, but what makes them so good is the pieces behind them and the upside, like we spoke about with AJ Mitchell going for 25, or Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper, or Terrence Shannon Jr. and Io lighting it up for Minnesota. And the Lakers, like, don't really have that. And so whether you get that through the draft or you get that for a trade, like I don't know who's going to be available for Los Angeles to go and get, but maybe they trade up or maybe they trade for a guy that wants out. Maybe they get like I don't know. I don't think he's leaving. I don't think it's going to happen. Maybe you trade for Tyler Hero if that's a possibility. And again, I that could be a conversation, but like they need a high upside guy because you do have a top five player in the league in Luka Doncic. And you owe it to Luka Doncic. And if he's there, you obviously owe it to LeBron James to give them a core that matches the Thunder, Spurs, and Timberwolves. And if it works, then it works. If it doesn't, whatever, because those teams are just so good. I think like these playoffs have just shown how talented the West is. And the West is going to get better too. Like, I guarantee you, the Denver, like, we could talk about this, or not really, we don't need to. The Denver Nuggets are going to make a big swing because they have Nikola Jokic, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
like, what's going to happen with Kevin Durant, right? I'm not saying the Lakers trade for Kevin Durant. Lakers do not do that. I do not like that at all. Um, but you got to do a high upside core. And I think you're seeing that more and more, and you're going to need to take big swings. And the Lakers are obviously no stranger to that. So who is it going to be? Who is it going to be?
I mean, I could be wrong, but I think the Lakers will look a lot differently than they do this year. I mean, you just look up and down the
They
West.
should.
They
Yeah,
should.
they
I
should.
mean, you look up and down the West, and it's kind of like, who do you even match up with when it comes to talent? And I know, and I'm not talking about, one, and I'm not talking about, star power or scoring ability. I'm talking about widespread. I think we're now living in the era of The NBA, the NBA has gone through different phases, whether it's the trio, the duo, whatever. Now we're in the era of two superstars or one high star, one superstar. Then you have to have a great bench. That's what it takes to win. You're looking at the Thunder. I mean, they're 10 deep. You look at the Spurs, they're 10 deep. Those are the two best teams in the league. You look at a bunch of other good young teams that still haven't figured it out. You look at the Magic, really deep team, and they're figuring it out. Your team, Charlotte, uh, really deep team, and they're figuring it out. Like I think that's what the NBA is right now, is getting two guys. I mean, the Celtics just went out in the first round, and they have to figure it out. I think it's their style play, but that's how they're built. That's how they won a championship in the last couple of years. Um, so their bench has to get better. I mean, it's something that we've been saying for a while, but you have to redesign the bench. I mean, if Jake LaRavia is one of your best players off the bench, it's not going to work because he's a role player. He's gonna fail in big moments. He's been very bad in playoffs, and they didn't have a lot of additions this all season, but he was one of them, and it hasn't worked out in the postseason. So. Um, there's a question with Austin Reeves. Are we going to pay him big money? You can't pay him big money. He just had his career high 31 in the playoffs. I'm not saying that he's a bad player, but he gets hurt. He was hurt last season. He's hurt this season. He doesn't give you a whole lot offensively, and he's not a star yet. He's just a really good player who has excelled because he was undrafted. Um, so they need a whole new rebuild. I also don't think LeBron's going to be there. I know we're talking about LeBron's on hypotheticals. LeBron's not going to be there. I really don't think so. There's no reason to bring him back if you're the Lakers, and you have to go into your next phase as soon as possible and figure that out. Now, where I feel bad is Luka got traded here. The Dallas Mavericks team was ready to contend for the next 3 to 5 years. He's now going to have to wait another couple years before he becomes wildly relevant. Obviously, he can lead a team to a finals, undoubtedly. But this is a skilled West that is better than when he went to the finals against the Celtics. It's better now. The talent is incredible. I mean, like I said, I already talked about the first two teams in the West. So for me, I I have no faith in Rob Pelinka because I don't think he's that great of a GM. I think because of where he works, who he works for, things kind of fall into his lap, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, I get Luca for 80? Yeah, hell yeah, I'm gonna take that. LeBron want to come to the team? Yeah, it's the Lakers, so he'll like." But you got to get another star. That's the number one. You got to get another star to match with Luca. Um, but yeah, I don't even know where to start. There's so many things that are wrong with the Lakers. I will say some of those guys should be retained. Smart should be retained. Kennard should be retained. It should be cheap. You should pay Rui, but you need somebody new. It
Could
doesn't
I
even have to be a
name
superstar. Yeah, it can be a
yeah,
star.
I the ones that like I was thinking of, and I we've spoke about this. Sabonis could work. They desperately need someone inside, but I don't even know if Sabonis puts them over the hump. But that's not the conversation. I think if they need a wing with high upside, and the Nets are going to do it, MPJ comes to mind. I saw someone say John Morant. I personally wouldn't like that
MPJ
because
in
I
a
don't think
Lakers
him and
uniform is like a nightmare.
dude. And then the one other I saw, and I don't think this is gonna happen, but who knows with this team? Maybe Kawhi Leonard in his last few years. If you really want to compete with Luka
I
Doncic right
I
away,
I don't like the whole
He doesn't
get
want to
it.
go to the
I
Lakers.
don't like the whole get an experienced guy for the Lakers. If you're the Lakers, I think they've fallen into the trap for the past. We've seen this for the past 6, 7 years. Like they've fallen into that trap of getting an experienced guy who used to be this all-time, top five player in the league, and now he's getting older, and
yeah.
it just doesn't work for them.
Because
You
that's
have
why
I'll throw.
I was
you
just gonna say
have
that's
to
what Pelinka
go.
does. He's a bad GM.
But and whether it's somehow get rid of Palinka, like whatever it is, like the Lakers need to realize that they need to focus on the route of the OKC Thunder and the San Antonio Spurs of investing in young high upside players. That is what is going to make your franchise move. That is what's going to get you to the finals. It's what's going to get you to contend is doing that. So it's Whatever you need to do, the best way to do that and get high upside young players. That should be in all capital young, young
Yeah.
high upside young. That should be screaming to Rob Pelinka right now. It should not be trying to go and go and try and get Kawhi Leonard, or you want to go and try to trade for Giannis. Don't no. Just
I have
high upside young players.
one more, and I don't think it's gonna happen. But if they want to make that call, and if they're picking up the phone, it low key could be ideal if they're gonna move him. Banchero. I don't think Paolo Banchero is gonna get traded, but
Yeah, I
he
don't think
is.
Orlando's not going to do that.
I don't think they're gonna do that, especially after he had a
And
great
they just
first
fired
round.
their
He was really
coach.
good.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't think it's gonna happen. But
I don't think there's
as
an
they
immediate move
say,
for them.
let's go.
I understand the
You,
vision. It's
you
just
gotta make them say no.
Orlando's no. Orlando's
I don't
not
think
going.
there's an immediate move though for the Lakers. Like there's not
I don't think
gonna.
it's an immediate move either. I think it's you have to go like you're not going to have a super high draft pick unless you try and go and make a trade, which I think ultimately for them with the draft that we're in, that's I think ultimately that's their best case scenario. I think that's what should be first on the drawing board for Rob Pelinka is try and see what you can get, for a top, what you need to trade away for a top, 15 pick outside of the top five, obviously. I mean, you don't want to go into those waters because then you're talking of like blowing up your whole team there. But like, I think that should be first on the drawing board is what do I need to trade away for a 7 through 15, a 12 to 17, like try and go get one of those picks. I think that should be the first thing, and then you build on from there and see what you can do. So
Yeah.
I
They're in
think that's
All right,
trouble.
enough Lakers.
yeah. But we'll talk. Obviously, we're going to talk more once the off season comes around, because they're in Cancun right now. But moving on to what do you want to do first? Pistons, Cavs.
That's fine. We could do that first.
Okay.
Yeah, either them or these are just prediction rounds, pretty much. I mean, there's a little to talk about, so we'll see.
Yeah. Moving on to Pistons, Cavs. Detroit is up 2-1. Obviously, this episode will be out um, after tonight's game. So we don't really know what that is, but we'll just give prediction on how the rest of the series go, who wins.
I'll start us off since I'm the non-Pistons fan, and I'm still picking the Pistons. I don't trust Cleveland at all. I've never trusted Cleveland, and Detroit just needed to wake up, and they woke up, and I think they're gonna win this in fuck it. All 5 games. I think they win tonight, and I think they win the closeout in Detroit. I think they're that good, and they'll go one step closer. Um, Props to JB Bickerstaff and what he said after game 3 and 4 in Orlando because they looked completely different. And then they got faced with adversity in that game 6. They didn't really play well, and then it took a historically bad quarter from the Magic to advance, but that's also the Pistons defense and why they were the best defensive team in the East. And so, yeah, props to them. I think the Pistons will win in 5, and if not 5, 6.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, I'm gonna ride with my team. Should have won last game. I think a lot of it had to do with fatigue. You go 7 games in the first series, and then you got to immediately jump into 2 games. You win at home; those are the easy games. I think on the road, 2 minutes left, tie game. A lot of mistakes that compounded itself. Cade made a lot of mistakes, which I always give him the benefit of the doubt because the man's putting the whole franchise on his shoulders. So can't have those turnovers. But again, I think the difference is because Detroit couldn't shoot last game. Game 3, Detroit couldn't shoot. They couldn't hit a bucket to save their life. And they were still within reach of winning that game, even though James Harden had 7 in the fourth, 19 total, and Donovan Mitchell had 30, and the rest of the team was doing well. It was still a tie game. So I got the Pistons this game. I think they tighten up. And then I'm with Jake. I think they win it at home, especially with the crowd behind them and a chance to go to the conference finals. Um, yeah, the Cavs don't scare me at all in any sense because I know James Harden. If it goes 7, let's say they win tonight and it goes to 7. James Harden's gonna have a bad game 7. You can almost book it. You can I would put money on it that James Harden would have a bad game 7 because that's just what he does. James Harden, in these get back games where he's down 2-0, 3-0, has a great game. Whether it's 20 points and 10 assists or 40 points, he always does this. He has great games when it's like, oh no, his team is down. Are they going to come back? Are they going to win? He has a good game. And then when they're like, all right, backs against the wall, game 7, game 6 elimination game, can we get vintage James Harden? And then he's looking around and fumbling the ball like he did in the first 2 games, and he doesn't know what's going on. So I have trust and faith that James Harden will fail, and that will be the ultimate because he's gonna get locked up again. Asar, Tobias, Cade, they all gonna lock him up again. He had a great end, stretch to that 3rd game, but again, I put it in Pistons. Ooh, I put it in the Pistons' hands. So yeah, give me Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, sweeps are on the board. We know I'm not going to pick Cleveland. So I think yeah, I think Detroit's got this. I think it'll probably be 6. Um, needs to be 5, for Detroit's sake and rest. But I think it's going to be 6.
Cade didn't even
I,
shoot good in the last game. You got to think about it.
No.
His
I
percentages
mean,
were terrible,
Cade wasn't the best last game, and then down the stretch, those 3 turnovers just absolutely messed
bro.
everything up.
Max
So
Strus make me want to crash out sometimes.
it's
So
it's
annoying.
it's it's
You
the
sound
limit,
like a Celtics fan in 2023.
it's the limit the turnovers. Cade needs to be smarter down the stretch. Jalen Duren needs to wake the hell up. That's
Now we're past that, buddy. We're past that.
he-
He's gonna be asleep the rest of these playoffs. Paul
listen.
Reed,
No,
him and Paul
no,
Reed
no,
gave you the same amount, and Paul Reed played for like 10 minutes.
no,
This is
no.
where we're
Listen,
at.
no, I ain't going for that shit. I'm not going for that shit at all.
Give Paul Reed, JB
I don't.
Bickerstaff, give Paul Reed more minutes.
I don't care if it takes till game 6. I don't care if it takes till next series. Jalen Duren needs to wake the hell up. Whatever needs to be done. And I don't, I'm not with the, you know what, give up on him, count him out. No, wake him the fuck up.
No, I'm
And
not giving up on
let's,
him, but he
let's
ain't giving you
roll.
20 and 10 no more. He's giving you
I
12
think,
and 7.
no, I think it's in the tank somewhere. He just needs to lock in. That's it. And I think the big difference last game down the stretch, that one possession where James Harden shook the hell out of Duncan Robinson and took it to the rack, got a bucket. There should be in no world should Duncan Robinson be guarding James Harden. There should be
Well, it's because
absolutely
of a
no.
switch. They got him on a switch, put him on an
But that's
island.
but see, that's my thing though, is whatever you got to do, if you got to go sit Duncan's ass in the corner and put him on Strus or so, like how about let's get white boy for
He
white boy.
was. That's the thing. Struess came and
Let's
set
put
the
white boy
pick.
for white.
They got him
Did
in a
he really set the pick?
mismatch.
I didn't even, I don't know. This is my thing though. I don't care. You gotta go and get a quick go.
Yeah, but you can't sit him. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. You're gonna get hunted. If you're bad mentally, you're gonna get hunted in the playoff. But he wasn't bad in game 1 and 2 against Harden. He was not bad against Harden. He
I
wasn't
don't
great, but he wasn't bad.
Cade and Asar, and that's it. Whether a switch comes or what, I don't care. Switch the defense. Get Cade or
But
Asar,
okay, but if I set you a screen and then you don't even set me, you send me a slip screen to get the matchup, you
then
can't
don't
get
switch
that
the
back. There's no
no,
way to avoid that.
don't switch the screen. Don't switch the screen. Don't switch the screen. If Duncan Robinson is involved, don't switch the
You
screen.
want James Harden to go downhill while I'm fighting over a screen in the playoffs in
And
clutch
he's
time.
gonna and he's gonna get fucked up at that rim. So
He gonna do the floater every time. He gonna float
I would,
that.
you know what? His body's gonna be on the line because somebody's hitting his ass after
Well,
that
then
float.
put Stewart
I
in the
would
game and have him
rather,
body check him.
I would so much rather us not switch the screen and force James Harden to do something downhill than you let him get on
Okay,
Duncan Robinson.
okay. So you would let James Harden. So you would go over because you're gonna have to go over on the screen. You would go over on the screen, let James Harden get downhill when you know he's a good passer. Even when he's at his worst, a pass takes like the effort of a third grader. All he has to do is look at Max Strus in the corner, and Max Strus is look at barbecue chicken. Like I,
I listen.
Duncan Robinson is all
See
right.
what
Listen,
happened. We've
I
seen what happened. Duncan Robinson
James,
or
James Harden sees ghosts from his past, like his name is Samuel Darnold, and he starts getting shook in his boots. All right, trust and believe this game. James Harden's gonna come try and come down the stretch. Duncan Robinson gonna lock up. All right, my shooter gonna lock up. My
all
shooter
right.
gonna lock up.
You let the all right. We're gonna see tonight. Let that shit happen
When
again.
when when they get the
Let
switch
that
and I
shit
see
happen
Duncan
again. I'm
Robinson,
falling for it.
he
Don't
gonna
switch
sit
no
down.
more.
Watch, he gonna
About Duncan
sit. He
Robinson.
gonna sit.
I don't care. I don't
He
care.
gonna sit.
That's all I'm saying, and that's about it. But yeah, I think that it's really just the mistakes, and I think fatigue's a great point. Detroit's been tired, so I think that's what we've seen. But that's
We
really
would have
all.
had that game if Cade wasn't tired. Trust.
It's just Cleveland's just so relentless. Like that's just really what it is. You have to play a full 4 quarters against Cleveland. Like they are
Well,
very relentless. You've seen it against Toronto. They were down in half of those games against Toronto and came back and won. So it's like,
Well, that's the thing about Cleveland is they have all the talent in the world. They're just soft as hell. I mean, Jared Allen is 6'11". He's the tallest person in the state of Ohio, and sometimes he doesn't even look like he's there. Evan Mobley had 9 points and 1 rebound in game two. He's 7 foot. How do you get 1 rebound as a 7 footer? You're the tallest person to the ball. You're the closest. Grab the ball. So that's what I'm
yeah,
saying. They're just soft. That's why we're a good matchup for them because we just push them around. And then you saw Donovan Mitchell complaining about the refs. He doesn't even go to the first two games. He didn't even go downhill. He never went to the rack, and he's talking about I need a foul. You're not getting to the rack.
exactly.
So they're just a
So
soft ass team.
yeah,
Just mashed potatoes and gravy, just soft.
yeah.
But that's why I say I don't have a problem. Duncan Robinson guarding James Harden down the stretch. I already know James Harden's gonna shit
No,
himself.
no, no,
James
no.
Harden's gonna shit himself on live TV tonight. Locked.
All right, we're gonna see.
Locked. He's gonna start looking around like,
Cooked again. Well, Duncan Robinson get cooked one more time, and I'm no,
well, you gotta he's Michigan State royalty. He's the state of
no.
Michigan royalty. Duncan Robinson will lock up.
All right,
Trust.
we'll see.
I
We'll
have
see.
faith in my shooter.
We'll see. Moving on to San Antonio versus Minnesota, series tied 2-2. Thoughts on this series? Who wins? Who pulls it out? This is a dogfight.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Spurs just because they have home court and Victor Wembanyama is not being suspended, even though I do think he should have been for game five, but I'm happy that he's not because it sort of adds more intrigue to the series. The Spurs have been great this entire year. They've been great at home this entire year, and I don't want to take away from the Timberwolves, but I think the core around San Antonio is much more prepped than Minnesota, and I trust one of De'Aaron Fox or Stephon Castle or Devin Vassell or Dylan Harper to complement Wembanyama, who will go nuclear. And yeah, I mean, are we talking about this series being a dogfight? If he doesn't get ejected yesterday, but then again, it's what happens. So I'm not going to put it on a hypothetical. I just think the Spurs are a better team with a higher ceiling, and I think it's going to show, especially in Shaq's favorite town of San Antonio, or
Yeah.
Charles Barkley, whichever one said it.
Galveston, dirty ass water.
Yeah.
He said it. He said in San Antonio, there's a chugging on them churros.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
what's his beef with San Antonio women, man? Chuck gotta chill out. He had
Dude,
a bad experience.
he definitely struck out once or twice.
He was on a certain dating app and it just didn't work out for him. Um,
Ridiculous.
no, I'm gonna go Spurs myself as well. I don't want to play the hypothetical, but I'm with Jake. I think they were gonna win last night had Wemby not gotten ejected. I really think they would have gone up 3-1. Um, but I think the San Antonio's just a better team. Wemby will go crazy next game. Uh, it is interesting to see because the Pistons set out the blueprint for the rest of the league, and the Timberwolves are following it to a T. Like they're not letting him have nothing. Like he's having to fight for every single point that he's making. Um, and I love every second about it because nothing better than exploiting somebody's weakness and playing it, to your strength. So I like the physicality. He's gonna have to realize like I'm gonna have to add weight. Like he's gonna have to go the Giannis route. He after this season, whether they win the championship or not, he should call up Giannis's trainer and be like, "Yo, give me some creatine, peptides,
Mhm.
whatever. Give me something. I need to get stronger." Because he's getting pushed around by Julius Randle, who's like 7 inches shorter than him at times. Um, but yeah, I think like I said, the Pistons found the blueprint, and for him, he just has to you know, figure out where Wemby just has to figure out where he fits in. Because it's like, obviously he can go drop 30 or 40, but he has to figure out how to score in an efficient manner. And that's the thing about young guys in the playoffs. It's like when to take over, when to conserve my energy. He's going from 28 minutes to 40 minutes in the playoffs, 28 in the regular season to 40 in the playoffs. So he's having to conserve his energy, figure out all that stuff. But if I'm gonna be honest, I kind of want to see Ant, and I also kind of don't want to see Ant because I think the Spurs have the biggest chance of taking down the Thunder. So I want to see that, but I also want to see Ant do it again. But again, if the Timberwolves get to the Western Conference Finals, it might be a 12-0 run for the Thunder. It really might be a 12-0 run. And Ant is just that good that it'll be a close games, but Thunder will still blow them out. So
Yeah, I think that Minnesota has. I'm not gonna say. I think Ant has shown the capability that he has in these NBA playoffs, to absolutely carry Minnesota. They just need somebody else. Like they need somebody else there to just get over that hump. Um, I think last night was a pure definition of it. Like Wemby goes out and you don't capitalize off of that and basically just don't make it a game. Like that's what's going to separate you from, you have to capitalize on those moments. That's what's going to separate you, and that's when it's going to demoralize a team. Is like you got to in that situation. You cannot make it a game. Like it cannot go down to the stretch, go down to the wire there. Um, because yeah, I mean Wemby just wasn't there, and that was the difference. Wemby plays that full game. San Antonio's up 3-1, and now they got back against the wall. Like it's over. So I think it's like Minnesota just needs somebody else. Wemby's gonna come back. Um, and it's just I think, I think they take the next two. I really do. I think Wemby's gonna come back. He's gonna be pissed off, mad, and San Antonio's gonna win the next two. So but yeah, Minnesota just they need that extra guy. They need somebody else. Um, so yeah. Minnesota's going to be a very, very good bet playoff team for years to come. So I'm excited to see them.
yeah.
That's another one where I think if KD gets traded, that's a destination that stands out to me. Um, I'm not gonna treat it like Minnesota's getting eliminated yet, but if they do, for the third straight year because of the score, like not having a second option to Ant, sort of similar to the Pistons and the problem of like you have Cade, who's the next guy. I could see KD going there, especially with the relationship the two have. I'm sure we spoke about it at some point, and again, this will become relevant if there are KD rumors that come out. But that's one where I'm just like, we we could talk about that a little,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And I think on top
Yeah,
of
not yet, but let's put it in the air.
yeah, I think on top of
Yeah.
everything within this San Antonio Minnesota series as well is Ant's not at 100% still. I mean, and
Oh
that's
yeah,
that's
no.
Yeah,
that's what's ultimately, you know, I think Minnesota's doomed because of that. Like he's not fully healthy. And it's probably not going to take till he gets an off season. So um, yeah, that's just the unfortunate case for Minnesota as well is he's fully healthy. Like listen, they could absolutely win this series, but he's not fully healthy. You don't really have that pure second option to him, so it's wraps, bro. It's wraps. Once I seen he took that. Once I seen he took that ball yesterday to the rack, he could have Anthony Edwards easily 100% should have dunked that shit. And he got fouled, trying to go up and he got fouled, but I was like, he ain't fully healthy. He's not fully healthy because Ant would have dunked that. 100% would
Yeah.
have. He said it post game too. He was like, I told the rookie I would have punched that, but I'm not fully healthy yet. So that's the unfortunate case for Minnesota. So yeah, that's it. Yeah. Anything else we want to add? No.
Tony Brothers, what are we? You're an interesting guy. That's it.
All right, tweaker of the week, everybody's favorite segment. Who wants to go first?
I'll start us off. I was gonna go with the Nets, but I spoke a bunch about them already. And then again, you can't really control the fate of ping pong balls. Let's go with Philly sports fans because all this talk about being a sports town forever, and the Knicks, and even the Celtics fans in the first series when they won games 3 and 4, took over that arena. And you think you're one of the best fan bases in the country, they are getting walked down by their fans. And it's not only the Sixers, it's the Flyers too. I know we don't talk about hockey. Flyers got swept, and look, Hurricanes fans weren't gonna absolutely invade that arena because there's just not enough of them. But I don't know if you guys saw tickets were $300 for game 4 after they lost game 3 and it became a 3-0 series, it became 50. Sixers fans love, or Philly fans love jumping ship. That's what I'm learning. And they do it with the Phillies too, because those tickets are cheaper by the minute as they're not very good. So they be jumping ship and they act all tough. Philly fans, you're soft. So absolutely tweaker of the week for me.
It's a good one.
Um, I'll go with. Uh, really. I was debating because it's like there's better ones. It's like, should I do it? Since we didn't do it, I'll do it. Last week we didn't talk about after the Pistons won, beat Orlando, but my tweaker of the week is Angel Reese. My tweaker of the week is Angel Reese because
That's a great one.
is because she was posting all this shit, talking all this crap about Jalen Duren. We know they dated, whatever, and Wendell Carter is on the Magic, her current boyfriend. And so she was posting a whole bunch of stuff. And so after the first game, she said, play the song. And then when G Matt Cash, who made the song The Pistons Won Again, or the Lions won again, the Tigers won again, that song, he responded to her, she blocked him. Every time people were trying to troll her, she would block people. Listen, if you're gonna dish it out first, right? You can't start blocking people when they start responding with the same energy. They didn't come out of nowhere. You were the one who posted all the messages of Dirty getting dunked on and your man winning the game. Well, you got sent home in 7, baby. You got sent home in 7. So now your boyfriend in Cancun, he courtside watching your games, and we still moving on. So that's what matters. But yeah, don't try and troll people, and then when I want to troll you back, you keep blocking people. Like, come on, man. You gotta take that in good spirit and good fun.
Exactly. You gonna dish it out, you gotta take it. You gonna dish it out, you gotta take it.
Yep.
Too. Um, I think first I'm gonna go with Adam Silver because the fact that Wemby's not suspended, the fact that Wemby's not suspended for game 5, I think is kind of crazy. I think I see, and I seen somebody tweet this probably today, and they had said like, "Oh, if Draymond Green would have done that, blah blah blah." I think there's a fine line. Like, I think Draymond's a little extreme because Draymond is just like you got to learn your lesson at some point. But like, if Nas Reed threw that elbow, are we sure Nas Reed is playing game 5?
He might be banned for the rest of
Mhm.
the playoffs.
Are we sure Nas Reed is playing game 5? You know,
Draymond Green's getting the death penalty.
Draymond Green's getting suspended for 10 games doing something like that. So
He should
that's
have at
my
least gotten fined. He didn't even get
that's my
fined.
Didn't get fined, nothing, a slap on the wrist. Just sit out the rest of the game. That was full. That was full. Oh, what they talk? Wind up and then
Oh,
follow through
when
and
he hit Wemby, bro, he hit Nas Reed
You
with his
saw you
elbow. His elbow is like 5 inches long. That's a deadly weapon.
he paused before he even threw the elbow.
He
you
looked at
saw you
him.
saw Dill
He looked at him. He said,
He said, like, yo, that is crazy.
you
No.
saw Dylan's reaction.
Yeah, his reaction was yeah.
Dylan's
He
reaction.
knew he knew it was over. He knew it was raps.
"News
He
raps."
knew it was raps.
Yeah.
So it's I
Yeah,
think
he's just like, oh Jesus.
and you know what? You know what's disappointing is I'm not surprised that Wemby's not. I'm not surprised Wemby's not suspended. My best friend texted me.
Oh no, neither am I.
He was like, "Oh, you think Wemby's going to be suspended?" I said, "Silver's not going for that. He ain't suspended.
But the no fine was crazy. It's like you could have
No
fined him
fine,
50 bands and it would have done nothing to him. And
at least a fine. No fine, no fine, no suspension. You just letting him walk.
oh no,
What?
It's
Jalen,
ridiculous.
bro, it's so funny. Draymond Green choked Rudy Gobert out and didn't know how bad it was until he got back into the locker room. And they gave him the boot. They were like, before he could even get on the team bus, they were like, nah, go home.
So that's all I'm saying. And I wanted to add to it. If you're gonna set that you're gonna set the standard there, you're gonna set the precedent, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. That's totally fine. But I swear I better not see Isaiah Stewart throw an elbow.
I don't know. Isaiah Stewart threw an elbow. You not seeing him in a Pistons uniform.
I
They
better
shipping him
If the
to Beijing.
I better not see, whoever throw an elbow
if
and
the Pistons if the Pistons make the conference finals, I'll put a lot of money on Isaiah Stewart and Mitchell Robinson getting into some sort of scuffle.
I better not see anybody throw an elbow and there's a suspension. I better not. That's all that I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say there. But yeah, that's all. Actually, I have one more really quick. It's just I don't even know who to call Tweak of the Week with this whole situation, but the Austin Rivers, Draymond Green, Hong from
Yo,
uh,
yo,
you
Hong has me crying.
Bro,
Yeah, dude.
I think Hong might be tweaker of the week. I think Hong might be the tweaker out of the full
Yo, Hong
situation.
is
Austin
hilarious.
Rivers. I'm not throwing Austin Rivers as tweaker of the week. Austin Rivers has been hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. When he
Bro, who
said
is Hong?
when he said best friend from Spider-Man, that's platinum. That is
No.
Dude.
Wait, did you hear the other one where he said, oh, you would have gotten shipped to China, and then
oh, he said no, that's
he
you.
said, that's you. Yo, his face, he couldn't believe that he said that. Everyone was like, oh.
Not why I bring this situation up because why are we disrespecting Austin Rivers? Why are we disrespecting Austin Rivers? I understand like he didn't have the career that he was supposed to have in the NBA, but we talk about one of the greatest high school basketball players ever, and then we go on and a very, very, very good college player for the 1 year he was there at Duke. Great freshman. Absolutely great
Why,
freshman. The thing
why,
Austin Rivers was doing in that Duke system was insane.
why did they drag Austin Rivers? Because I know Draymond was talking about not being utilized offensively by
It
Kerr.
started no, it started with the one-on-one player Nas.
Oh, that's
He was trying to
right.
challenge Austin Rivers to a 1v1. Austin Rivers was like, no, I don't even know who that is. I'm not playing him. Like, and then Draymond chimed in, started kind of talking about Austin Rivers' NBA career and how like basically how like Austin like should go play Nas and like obviously blah 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 all that. And I think Draymond was trying to get at the point of like Austin Rivers is acting like he's above whatever Nas is because of what Austin Rivers did in the NBA. And then Austin Rivers went back at Draymond and was like, let's slow your roll here, Draymond, because you
I'm not
got
gonna
the
lie, Draymond of all people need to play Nas.
and
You
that's
got
all
you got the skill set that you need to prove.
That's what Austin Rivers was saying. Austin Rivers was like, Draymond, how about you play me one-on-one?
Oh yeah, that'd get bad. That'd get bad.
So
Austin would do him dirty.
Austin was going crazy. And that's what Austin Rivers said. Austin Rivers said there's no one-on-one handoffs and there's no pick and roll handoffs in 1v1.
Curry ain't coming to save you. He ain't walking in that door.
Curry ain't coming to save you. Curry ain't coming to save you. So that whole situation is hilarious though.
But why was Hong defending Draymond Green? That was my question.
Hong's a Warriors.
It's so weird.
Warriors fan.
I don't even know who Hong is. He just appeared on my timeline.
I know he was until this situation happened.
Just appeared on my time. I'm like, who is this guy beefing with?
He's a co-host on I think it's Theo Pinson and Charlie Villanueva's podcast.
Was he
podcast, something to the Baja podcast?
I will say this with that debate. They're right to some degree. Like Austin Rivers didn't have the good career he was supposed to. But Austin Rivers could hoop. It was just the fact that he didn't get placed in somewhere good. Like we got drafted like to New Orleans. It was like they were a shit show.
I was about to say he got drafted to the New Orleans Hornets.
It was terrible.
Yeah, dude. Terrible.
You see how that ended up for AD. Terrible situation. And he was out. So
we know Austin Rivers can drop 40 in a game. We don't know if Draymond probably can. He's an NBA player, but like
he almost did in that finals game. He had that one finals game against Cleveland where he had 34 and like 10 and 7. He was going crazy. That's it.
Like out of anybody that needs to prove their offensive skill set. He just complained to the whole world that Kerr didn't use him offensively, even though they had the 3 greatest offensive players of all time. And it's like, Draymond, what more do you want? Like, you're getting $100 million and you have 4 rings in your pocket. Just be grateful. What are you talking about? Matter of fact, Draymond, your tweaker of the week. Talking about that. Because that actually brought up a great point. When he said that, that pissed me off. He said, maybe if Steve Kerr would use my offensive talent. Buddy, that's not what you're used for. You're not an offensive weapon. Stop, please.
Exactly.
Get your money, your fame, your first ballot Hall of Famer. But Draymond Green as my number 1 scorer, take me out now. I want to go.
That team scoring 70 points that night. Maybe 60.
If I get to an alternate universe and Draymond Green is the number 1 option for the Golden State Warriors, I will gladly take myself out. I will no longer be a sports journalist.
Yeah, bro.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
No, that was hilarious.
Well, that's about it. We got what should they comment?
Who is Hong?
Comment.
Yeah, facts, dude.
Comment L Nets.
Yeah, facts, dude.
Comment L Nets. L Nets.
Comment L teams. Look, Jake just has a landscape of all the Jets, Mets, and Nets, all objective failures.
Yeah.
Dude, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, nah. But run up socials as always: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, keep showing love. That's about it. As always, stay fly. Peace.